Hello again, it's the OhioRAAM Show coming to you from Southwest Ohio, where we are sponsored by two of the time stations here in Southwest Ohio for the Race Across America. That's the time station at Oxford, Ohio. The first one you run into when you cross the Indiana border. In fact, it's only a couple stone throws after you cross the Indiana border. Well, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. And then the next time station is Blanchester. And these two time stations are the sponsors of the show. They are staffed by some very wonderful people, and from time to time I like to mention the people who do that because they work so hard. And one of them I'd like to mention tonight is Jim Lawyer, who is the captain of the Oxford time station. He has spent a lot of time, energy, and money to have a really nice setup there. He does a wonderful job with his huge canopy and his other equipment that he brings, and we appreciate Jim so much. A couple years ago, I kind of dumped the operation of these time stations off onto Jim, and he's picked up the cudgel and run with it, and we're glad for Jim. We thank him an awful lot. And the time stations, for your knowledge, are there 24 hours a day, around the clock. So we have waiting for you 24-hour food, 24-hour fuel, and more important than any of that, 24-hour fans. So whether you drop by as a fan, a rider, a crew member, what have you, at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll be there waiting for you. And tonight, we have a group of lovely ladies and one gentleman with us from Arkansas. I believe they're all from Arkansas, aren't they? I don't know. We'll find out. The Children's Tumor Foundation NF Endurance Team. We're going to find out what's that all about and learn more about them. And we would like to welcome all of these fine ladies here with us tonight. I'm Lee Kreider, the host of the show. It's starting to look like winter around here, but not today. I was wearing a sweater just before the show started, and I had to take it off. It's so warm in here, and I'm still plenty warm. But we want to get to Arkansas or wherever we're at and talk to some of these people, and we're going to just start down the line here, and we want to welcome Angela. Angela, how are you this evening?
Hi, how are you? Doing good, thank you.
And Angela, for those of you who are looking at the little film strip there at the bottom, she's on here twice. We're not quite sure why, but it's one of the fun things that happens around here sometimes. I don't know, maybe she's got a phone or something like that in the background, but be that as it may, Angela, you're on this team. And now, am I right, Angela, has this organization had a team in the Race Across America before?
Yes, it had a team, and actually Leslie, who's on our team, and Connie was on the crew, and Hannah, I think you were too, right?
And Evelyn.
You guys, I'm like, hold on. So I think that's kind of where, you know, they've crewed it before, and now here they are. Some of them are, you know, obviously riding. So, but yeah, the NF Endurance team has participated in the Race Across America before.
Yeah, I was going to check on that before we got started, but I just didn't have time, and you got to check down through every year to find that out. So let's go. And you are somewhere in Arkansas, are you, Angela?
I'm actually in the Dallas area.
Yeah. I thought one of you had slipped away there somehow.
Yeah.
Well, now let's go to Arkansas. And on my left here, I believe, is Leslie. Is that correct?
I'm Leslie. So I'm not sure if I'm on your left or your right, but I'm Leslie Oslitza, and I was crew chief on the 2011 Race Across America team, and Evelyn and Hannah were both on that team as crew members as well. And my husband Connie was a rider, and we ride in honor of our daughter Katie Holt, who has neurofibromatosis. And we had actually crewed, Connie and I had actually crewed on a 2009 and a 2007 Race Across America team, riding for a reason with the NF Endurance team as well.
Okay. I'm getting just a little bit of echoing, and it's nothing to do with your computer. I think it's in the line somewhere. So we're not going to worry about it, but when you see the show, you're going to hear that. We're just going to plow ahead anyhow. And go ahead. Now, next to you, Leslie, is Evelyn?
Evelyn. Yes, Evelyn Brinkley.
And you have crewed before.
Yes, I was on the 2011 crew team. My husband rode as well as a team member with Connie.
Okay. And next to Evelyn is Hannah. Is that correct?
Yes, Hannah.
And
I rode with them in 2011 as well.
okay. Well, glad to have you all here. And let's, while we're here on this frame, let's just ask you, starting with you, Hannah, tell me a little bit about your cycling background and how you got involved in this program.
All right, well, I started cycling indoors. About 3 or 4 years ago, I started teaching indoor cycling. I really just piddled in it with Leslie and Connie for a while and crewed with them. But I actually got my first bike August. Yeah, so fairly new to road cycling, but loving it so far.
Okay, very good. And Evelyn, tell me a lot about your cycling background.
We bought bikes about 7 years ago and just started riding for pleasure. We enjoyed the Wichita Falls, Texas Hotter Than Hell 100 and started going to it every year. And then Connie and Leslie joined us out there, and we had a NF team out there, and just kept going from there.
And so you're going to be riding this year, right?
Yes, sir.
And Angela, tell me a little about your cycling background.
So I think my cycling background, I guess, is pretty much through triathlons. That's how I really started getting into cycling. My mom and her husband Dennis has always been big cyclers. My mom actually rode her bike from Texas to Atlanta, Georgia for the Olympics. So, you know, I've kind of grown up with them cycling, and they enjoy it. And so I started doing triathlons, and then they showed me everything I needed to do in order to change gears and that whole thing. So I would say about 2 years I've been really comfortable cycling, so this is going to be a new experience for me.
Okay. Well, let's go to the gentleman here. Connie, I believe you're the crew chief. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I'm co-crew chief of Angela's mom, Kathy Ladies, and so we hope to help guide these ladies across the country in June 2015, and looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great challenge, and I think they're going to spin those hills like it's never been done before.
Tell me a little about your crew. Is it shaping up pretty well? You got everybody you need? You're still looking for people?
It's been shaping up very nicely. Primarily family and friends have volunteered, and so we've got a nice list trying to get people kind of slotted in and determine what our ship schedule is going to look like for crew, and also doing some work on the planning for how the riders are going to ride and what their ships are going to look like. But it's coming together very nicely.
Okay. Well, I want to get into some other things, but before I do, I want to just take a moment to highlight some of the organizations that we support on our website here. The OhioRAAM.org, which you see on your screen there at the moment, is the website for the time stations themselves. The Race Across America, that's .org. That is the website for the Race Across America, where when the race is on, you're going to find all the information you need as to how it's developing and all those kind of things. So keep that in mind. And the other website there that I like to highlight is UltraRace News. That's John Foot's operation. John only lives a few miles away from me, interestingly enough. UltraRaceNews.com, where almost everything, as Ed McMahon used to say on the old Johnny Carson show, everything you want to know about ultracycling is on that site. You don't have to remember any of those links, because if you simply go to the OhioRAAMshow.com website, which you see there now, they're all listed there, and we appreciate it anytime you support sites. Now, back to our team here. You are supporting a charity and a cause which I know is near and dear to some of your hearts, probably all of you. And I'd like you to tell me a little more about that. Whoever wants to talk is fine, about this Children's Tumor Foundation and what this NF is all about. Help us understand a little more about that and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, how about I'll share some from a personal perspective, and Angela can share some from a business perspective as well as a personal perspective. Angela and I actually met at Hotter Than Hell, I think back in 2009, somewhere around there. We both had little girls that are affected by neurofibromatosis. And as a non-professional athlete, riding or running or triathlons was something that we could do to make a difference for our kids. And the Children's Tumor Foundation was formerly called the National Neurofibromatosis Foundation, and they changed their name to the Children's Tumor Foundation. And we have an endurance team that anyone can participate in, whether you're a seasoned athlete or a beginning runner or walker. There's something for everyone. And what it does is it affords us the ability to raise awareness and raise funds for research. And this year, the reason why we put this team together at this particular time was it's a wonderful platform to do something way over the top, that we can approach our donors or our friends and ask them to support us. In addition to just a regular donation, this year's Race Across America is going to be able to be matched. Any donations is going to be able to be matched by the Moffitt family, who has provided a $2.5 million matching gift to the Children's Tumor Foundation for any new donations. So we took it upon ourselves to ride Race Across America to raise awareness and funds for NF research, and so that these funds could be matched.
Well, can you explain to me a little more about what this disease is? As I was telling you before we went on the air, my wife tried to explain it to me. She's had a little bit of experience with these types of things, and I'd like to hear, help us understand about the disease. How prevalent is it? What it does? What's the outcomes, et cetera, et cetera? Anything you'd like to share?
Angela, you want to take that one?
It's going. All right, so neurofibromatosis is a genetic disorder, and it causes tumors to grow anywhere on and throughout the body. It affects 1 in every 3,000 people worldwide, and so it's very prevalent, and it's kind of the disorder that nobody knows about. So, of course, we try to raise awareness by doing these kinds of events. All of our participants on the NF Endurance team, that's kind of their goal: raise awareness and fundraise for a cure. It causes all kinds of different side effects. It varies from case to case. So one person may have a mild case, whereas another person has a severe case. There's 3 different kinds. There's schwannomatosis, NF1, and NF2, and they all affect people completely different.
Now, is it a malignancy that grows and spreads, or?
No, so just because somebody has neurofibromatosis, it doesn't mean that they have cancer or they're going to have malignant tumors. typically they're more susceptible to developing cancer. I think it's about 50%, right, Leslie? Isn't it 50% more likely to develop a cancerous tumor than like the general population?
And this affects children mostly, is that correct? Or
well, it's a genetic disorder, so you're born with it. And then, of course, adults, you know, the children do turn into adults, so, you know, adults can have it as well. And then if, you know, some of the cases are spontaneous mutations, and then others are passed on from generation to generation. And
what kind of treatments are available for this? Are there effective treatments?
There's clinical trials.
So money you raise is going to go into research and that type of thing, correct?
Yes.
I think something that's unique about the Children's Tumor Foundation is we're able to sponsor research programs at various levels of cost. So, say for $25,000, we can sponsor a Young Investigator Award or a Drug Discovery Initiative Award or something like that. So people really can make a difference in research. And I don't think that's something that most people realize, that if we raise $100,000 on our Race Across America team, we will have been able to fund 4 research projects through the Children's Tumor Foundation, and one of those may lead to a discovery that you know, affords treatment, better treatment, or ongoing research.
Okay, well let's. I want to show you pictures here of some young ladies. I think some of those are some of the same ones over again, but help me. Who are these young people, and tell me about as much as you can about them and their cases. Start the upper left there. Is that the same lady, young lady that's below her?
Yeah, so this is Angela. That is my daughter Kylie. She has an F1, and she's 8 years old. She was diagnosed when she was 2 months old. She's had 8 surgeries. She's lost her eye, her left eye, because of tumors at age 3. So she was on a clinical trial that was actually funded by the Children's Tumor Foundation for about 1.5 years. And that was actually pretty effective with her treatment. She had stability in her tumors for that whole length of time. So we were very excited about, you know, how that clinical trial, or how she reacted to that. So.
Okay. You say she's 8 now?
She is. She's 8.
Active little girl.
Active little girl, you betcha.
Okay,
tell me about the young lady up here in the wheelchair.
Okay, well that's actually a little boy. His name is Travis. And first I'll tell you about the little girl in the lower right. It's the same picture of, it's not the same picture, it's the same child. It's our daughter Katie, that she wasn't diagnosed until she was 9 years old. I had approached her doctor when she was 5 and asked about the cafe au lait spots, which is a primary characteristic of NF. And he dismissed it, that it was nothing to be concerned about. And then 4 years later, a different doctor noticed the cafe au laits and sent us to Children's Hospital and told us about neurofibromatosis. So we were upset that they had missed the diagnosis, especially a pediatrician, since it is a childhood disorder that you're born with. And so Katie, that's her when she's younger, and then her senior picture in high school, and then she just got married and is beginning her adult journey with NF. And so I like to keep things very inspiring. Katie always inspires us, but we also do this for all the kids that are affected by NF, just like Angela's daughter Kylie has a very deep-seated place in our hearts, and Travis, we met at the Daytona 500 at the Race for Research program that the Children's Tumor Foundation has, and Travis stole our hearts, and so he's going to be one of our NF heroes that we ride for this year, as well as all the other NF heroes that we've met over the years. I was telling somebody the other day that I never knew I was going to have so many hundreds of children that I have adopted, whether it be emotionally or whatever, in support of them. So we ride for all of them.
And your daughter is how old now?
Katie is 23, and she has NF1, and she's mildly affected, doesn't necessarily have any of the outward characteristics such as tumors or things like that. She's got the cafe au lait spots and some of the other common difficulties that people have with NF. So, but when you have NF, you can't ever really just let it lie. You have to do your checkups every year and make sure there's no new tumor development or things like that.
Now, you're saying cafe au lait spots like a cream coffee colored spots or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. They're birthmarks. They're just typical birthmarks, but anybody that has 5 or more birthmarks is one of the most common characteristics of NF.
And that's the color of them, like
light brown.
Light brown, like a cream coffee. See, I know my French. I have to tell you sometime about my forays in France and trying to speak to the natives and left them laughing. Connie, how did you get wrapped up in this program?
Well, through my daughter Katie, actually. Leslie is my wife, and so when Katie was diagnosed, that's when we got wrapped up in it together. It was a way for us to express ourselves and do what we could to enable a cure or some help for Katie as she took this NF curing on. And been very rewarding. It's a great way really to release and to relate with others that have the same condition in their family in some shape or form. And so that's how we got wrapped up in it. It's
okay, I didn't pick up on the fact that you and Leslie are husband and wife.
Lucky guy.
I've got the right two together, haven't I?
Yes.
Okay, and for those of you who are watching, I put our slide back up there. You can go to that website, ctf.org, that's on your screen there, to see the website for the Children's Tumor Foundation. And also at the bottom of the show notes for the show, I'll have a link you can simply click on to go there. And Leslie, I believe you have a website set aside, I think I have it up here, for donations. Is that correct?
Yes, each one of us writers have our own donation pages, but I've got mine set up under EndureNF.org, and that'll take you to my page, and then from my page, anyone could go to the other team members' pages as well. Okay. But we can send you a link to our whole team's fundraising page so that anybody could see our own personal reasons for why we're doing it.
Let me just check quickly here. I think I have that, but you can double check with it. Yeah, Leslie's personal page for NF 2015, and yeah, I'll tell you what. You will, when you get off the air or later, since we got a couple weeks before this will actually go on air, make sure I have that link. And I'll put that in the show notes. Those of you watching, that'll be right at the bottom of the show notes for this show at OhioRAAMshow.com. And you just go to the show notes there, not the snow notes. I'm thinking winter here, I guess. You don't get much snow down there in Arkansas, do you?
We do sometimes. Last year we got quite a bit. Hopefully this year not so much.
Well, they tell me that before this week's out, we're going to love the weather here. It's going to get down in the teens, so we're going to get it. Oh, I digress too often. Back to the story. At the OhioRAAMshow.com, if you find this show, which I don't have the show number here, but you can find it. It'll be the Children's Tumor Foundation show, and in the show notes, you'll find a link to Leslie's page where if you would like to make a donation, to this cause, you can do it there, and I know they would appreciate that, because it sounds like it's something that needs attention. There's so many things out there that just isn't getting money. There's some very high-profile things, but I'm always happy to try to lift up some of these things that aren't getting the kind of attention, and just because it's not that common. Well, actually, if it's 1 in 3,000, that's pretty common, actually, isn't it?
That's what Angela was saying. It's the most common, one of the most common genetic disorders out there, but nobody's ever heard of it. And that's where a program like ours is so important, because we can raise awareness and bring attention to it. And Lee, I was going to invite you to ask Evelyn and Hannah why they participate if they don't have a kid affected by this disorder, because Angela and I do it because we have to.
Yeah,
I mean, as
personal.
mom with a kid affected by this, you can't rest not doing anything. But Hannah and Evelyn don't have any direct connection, and they do something as extreme as this just out of the goodness of their heart.
Well, Evelyn, she's put you on the spot. Where does this urge come from? What drives you here?
Just by the friendship that we've grown to have over the years, and we started bringing awareness through running marathons together, and it eventually evolved into bicycling. And my husband and Connie did this race across America 3 years ago, and just the experience that they had and the opportunity to bring awareness and raise the funds for the organization to help all the affected children and adults out there.
Okay, and Hannah,
As for me, I would just say I'm probably gonna run a ride regardless, and the athletes are to be thanked for that, because they dragged me into marathon running in about 2009 or 2010 when I was still in college, and then loved riding with them, and so I'm gonna do it regardless. So I might as well do it for a reason. I grew up here in Connie, Arkansas, so I know a lot of people around here, and it's been great to be able to raise awareness for people with my work at school, people that never would have heard of it that probably should have. And then meeting the kids at different events that we've done, just seeing, how their spirits are lifted, knowing that people are fighting for them. That's why I do what I do.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm sorry about the little sound issue there. As I said, it wasn't with you folks. It was somewhere in the lines, and there's nothing we can do about that, but we're just glad to have you here. Well, to wind this up, let's just go down the line again and say goodbye to each one of you, and see if you've got a final comment you'd like to make. We'll start there with Angela.
Put me on the spot first, huh?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm really looking forward to the event. I think it's going to be a great awareness event for the Children's Tumor Foundation and for neurofibromatosis. I'm going to keep on keeping on until we find a cure, and I'm hoping that that's going to be definitely in my daughter's lifetime, because she needs one.
Yep. Thank you, Angela. Connie? Thank you for being here. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave?
Sure. I think it's going to be a most interesting ride across the country, and I just wish these girls the best climbing those hills, and the greatest joy coming down.
Well, as I've said before, I always kind of like the climbings. The downhills that always scare the life out of me. But and I find I'm not alone in that. I find that Dex Took has the same problem, and that puts me in pretty good company. All right, let's start over with Hannah. Final thoughts before we say goodbye? Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been on lots of journeys with these people, and I think it's going to be the biggest and hopefully the best yet.
Okay. And Evelyn, thank you again for being here.
Thank you. We look forward to the journey and hope for good weather and tailwinds behind us.
Well, if you get that across Kansas, I want to hear about it. Okay, and Hannah, before we go, final thought.
Well, I'll go. This is Leslie. And Lee, I want to thank you for having us and reaching out to us and all that you do to support so many different charities. Your shows are great, and it's a great tool for us to reach out to donors and people that might not have heard about us. And as Angela said, we don't really have an option for our girls. And she and I both have the same goal, and that's to find a cure or effective treatments for our girls in their lifetime. As the journey goes, I worry more and more as Katie gets older that that's going to be something that we see. But we will not give up, and we will not surrender, and we will continue the journey until our time is done. So we appreciate everybody. I appreciate this team so much. Evelyn actually got us into bicycling. She didn't mention that. And both she and I were in the car together on Race Across America, watching our husbands climb 14,000 feet elevation. We both looked at each other and said we would never do that, and here we go.
Yes, well, you never know. When my wife, I lost my first wife many years ago, and then remarried, and of course she had to get into cycling whether she liked it or not. And she said, "There's one thing I'll never do. I'll never go out in a cornfield." And you know about how long that lasted. But so those. Oh well, let's get on to things. Thank you all for being here, and I hope that you get some good donations. Again, we're going to show that website, but actually to donate, you want to get to OhioRAAMshow.com, and I put the wrong one up there. Get to OhioRAAMshow.com and find that link that we'll put there to where you can make a donation, and I'm sure that's the case always. Every little donation helps. Big ones are wonderful, but you like the little ones too, and I hope that a number of people will take the opportunity just to click on there and send a few bucks to find a cure for these. Let's put their picture up here. These young people who are struggling with these problems and these issues. There ought to be a solution for them, and we hope they find them soon. And well,
that's I just wanted to tell you we're doing something different this year. We're going to have our Inspired Journey, and that's anybody that makes a donation of $500 or more will write their name on our jersey. And when we're feeling really low or like we don't have energy, we're going to wear our Inspired Journey with all of our donors on it. And so if you want your name on a jersey and be a part of the team, make a donation. We'll include it there.
Okay, great. Well, that's an incentive for somebody out there, I hope, and we'll get on with that. But again, if you simply go to OhioRAAMshow.com, like you see on your screen there, and go to the links below, you just click on them, and there'll be a place where you can make your own donation. Thank you again for everyone for being here with us. And we want to thank everyone for watching the show tonight. We hope that when you see the show, if you see it via Facebook, you'll give us a little like there or a share. That really boosts the exposure of this show. It boosts the exposure of this program that these people are supporting. And that's our purpose here. You know, it's not so much an ego thing. I have an ego, of course, but as everybody does. But it's always nice to see these things get spread around. If you see the show via Google+, just give us a plus there. That would be helpful. Or if you see it on Twitter, just retweet it to all of your friends and let them know about it. And while you're there at the OhioRAAMshow.com, if you've got a comment, there's a place you can make a comment. If you'd like to have notifications for future shows, there's a place you can leave your email address. We protect those. They will not be used for anything else. And we appreciate all the support we get. It's nice to hear from a lot of people all the time. That kind of keeps us going. thank you for being with us, and good night.
Thanks, guys.